presentation, and the most wonderful welcome from my coming back from my home, from the airport till the hotel, and everything is very excellent. Thank you so much, and I'm happy also that the females equal to the male number. This is very good. The second point that I noticed, it's very good. Just I want to talk just in 1 minute. Low vision is a tough subject. It's make you feel depression from the patient. I know that very well. What make me to search for all this data when the patient refuse or the devices failed with the patient? So I have to take the process retrograde. What makes the devices not suitable for not all the patients have the access to these devices. I'm supposed to talk about these 3 items, but I merge this both of them. That's, I think that they are closely related to each other. Finally, if anyone wants the presentations, I think that we can take it. Okay. Developmental milestones of visual system. For at the same time, what are you doing at that age for rehabilitation? Visual problems of anyone due to either in the image quality, due to disorder of the eye or the visual pathway. Second, picture perception is disturbed because of loss of function in some of the specific analytic function in visual cortex. So we have 2 terms to talk about: visual function and functional vision. What is visual function? All these functions. That is at the level of the retina mainly, then at the level of the visual cortex. Visual acuity, visual field, central and peripheral, color vision, contrast sensitivity, binocular vision, ocular motility, voluntary and involuntary, stereopsis, accommodation for the distance, adaptation for light, visual pathway, occipital cortex. What does it like? That's like if you want to draw a picture. This is the instruments if you want to draw a picture. This is the brush, the colors, the papers. This is the function of the eye. What about functional vision? Functional vision, it's visual perception. What does it mean? It is your perception to the photo itself. The meaning. You can realize that this is unusual. Surrealism. It is a flower all over the photos, but the presentation is different, and your brain is able to differentiate. This is surrealism. This is drawn by. You can't hear me? كلامي يعني مسموع ولا؟ طيب بس. Did draw and this photo, real photo. Your brain differentiate between all these 3. Certain facts that we have to know first before talk about visual failure. I consider vision. We have visual system, not eye. We have visual system, and visual impairment is visual failure, as liver failure, heart failure, as any system. Smell and acuity have proven to be poor predictors of performance on everyday tasks, such as reading, face recognition, and mobility. There are 2 major gaps in our knowledge. We don't know how to characterize the visual limitations of a low vision subject, and we don't know what role vision plays in everyday tasks. From the long experience, sometimes we find a patient markedly visually impaired, but he came alone. I don't know how did he come to my clinic. On the other hand, you test the visual acuity of the patient and you find it reasonable, but the patient almost always complaining. So we talk about visual system. This photo is shows the real state of vision. Around 70% of the brain function starts from the visual cortex. Visual pathways, we have two pathways, functional pathways. Parvocellular, transfer color and high contrast black and white details information. Magnocellular fibers transfer motion information and low contrast black and white information. From V1, visual information flows upwards as the dorsal stream. So we have dorsal stream. Functions, it means where, carrying the function of where the object. And toward the infratemporal lobe as the ventral stream. Functions, what functions? The visual cortex has a retinotopic map. It means that the retina has its own presentation in the brain. More cortical neurons are devoted to fovea, as fovea only has cones. The reason cones allow us to see details and the color. This is the presentation of the retina in the cerebral cortex. And we can notice that the macula occupy a large area from the developmental milestones of visual system. We have developmental milestones as any developmental tool, the growing teeth, and here we have signs to show that the child is visually impaired or has normal vision. Infants are born with a complete visual system, hardware. A child's vision will develop throughout the first year of life. The area of the brain which is responsible for vision will remain underdeveloped unless stimulation and vision experiences are provided. For visually impaired children, vision is not automatically learned process. If vision is not having its dominant place, sensory shifts take over cell groups. It means if there is no rehabilitation for children in early life, sensory shift the child will depend upon his hearing and touching, which is common in our area. From birth to 4 months, during the first months of life, the eyes start working together and vision rapidly improves. Eye-hand coordination begins to develop as the infant starts tracking movement with his or her eyes and reaching for them. By 8 weeks, babies begin to more easily focus their eyes on the faces of a parent or other person. Reaching will become more accurate as hand-eye coordination and depth perception begin to develop. The only complaint of any parents that the child has visual impairment, there is no eye-to-eye contact. If the child came at that age, what will we do with him? We use a night light or other dim lamp in the baby's room because we are in need of visual stimulation at all the time. يعني أنا دايما بقول عينين بتوعنا ربنا خالق العين مفتوحة طول الوقت to perceive image. Our eyes should be opened all the time. So stimulation should be in early lives should be present for the children or the infant all the time. Keep reach and touch toys within the baby's focus of about 8 to 12 inches, يعني very nearby. Alternate right and left side with each feeding. Hang a mobile above and outside the bed. If the child seems to be aware of light, يعني the child first we have feed sequence for vision development. He has first to fixate, then track, then grasp or eye-hand coordination. This is the stimulus. باينة الصورة تحت كده. Highlight within the room. Then we started to use very highlighted objects to take the attraction of the child, just to fixate, then moving the object, to potentiate tracking. Any types of lights, any types and all colors, we can use them. Even the stocks of the baby can be in pattern, high contrast, white and black, or colored, high contrast, black and yellow. We need very simple materials for rehabilitation. There is also letter room. Letter room is just a box with hanged toys, bright papers inside the inputs. So the child will be put in this box to be stimulated all the time. From 5 to 8 months, control of eye movements and eye-body coordination skills continue to improve. Depth perception starts to improve. What makes us to consider that the child has, or the infant has, depth perception? He started to grasp the object in front of him. Good color vision by 5 months of age developed. Most babies start crawling at about 8 months old, which helps further develop eye-hand foot-body coordination. Early walkers who did minimal crawling may not learn to use their eyes together as well as babies who crawl a lot. From 5 to 8 months, the baby recognizes familiar faces, visually explores new environment, grasps objects successfully, shifts visual attention from one object to another. He has capability of both eyes holding fixation and covering equal. From 9 to 12 months, babies begin to pull themselves up to stand position. A baby should be able to grasp objects with thumb and fingers. Most babies will be crawling and trying to walk. Parents should encourage crawling rather than early walking to help the child develop eye-hand coordination better. Early intervention by preparing a baby bed, it is the same. I think that the first few months from 0 until 9 months, it is the same method of rehabilitation. From 1 to 2 years old, by 2 years of age, child's eye-hand coordination and depth perception will develop. Children at this age are highly interested in exploring their environments, more active, more exploring for the environment surrounding them. Encourage early intervention at that age by encouraging the babies to reach toys and objects. Encourage the development of visual-spatial relationship by allowing the child to play with blocks. Give the child building blocks and balls and imitate your emission and imitate your doing with the games itself. Read or tell stories to stimulate the child's ability to visualize and pave the way for learning and reading skills. The material we are used almost always highlighted by different colors and lights. From 2 to 3 years, 2 years points to pictures in book. He can realize the environment surrounding him, matches identical objects, imitates movements, seeks missing objects or person visually, has improved color vision, has improved visual memory. From 3 to 5 years, children develop pre-reading and pre-writing. This is the preschool age. At the age of 4 years, language skills are also developed during this period. Matches simple forms, does simple form board or puzzle, but still relies on some tactile cues. It pick up object and observe them. He can open even the simple toys. Discriminate sizes, has good depth perception, display freehand eye coordination. Early intervention at that age, encourage top to bottom. This is the movement of the eye, because at the school age, he will learn how to write. All of this process should be presented to the child before going to the school, because sometimes the visually impaired child supposed to be idiot, mentally retarded, or with learning difficulties. Encourage top to bottom and left to right processing by drawing lines on a board. Encourage visual recognition by playing with magnet letters. Use eye-hand coordination games to teach eye tracking. Allow the child to run and develop eye-hand, eye-foot coordination. At the school age from 5 to 8 years, this is the school age. Our approach at that age is like the adult rehabilitation. But before approach or prescribing low vision for the child, we should examine him for visual perception first. I will talk about visual perception in the next talk. From 5 to 8 years, this is the critical period of the child to be a school member, academic life. If he has not developed fixation, tracking, eye-hand skills, he won't be able to continue in the school. At the school, we give them the devices plus environmental modification. Lighting, large printed books, stands, indirect illumination. This is the environmental modification. This photo from the Hong Kong Society for the Blind. No. To conclude my talk about visual rehabilitation, I wrote a story about a child who had visual impairment in the school, and I described how to examine them, how to do the environmental modification, plus social rehabilitation. It is so important at the same time that to accept all these children and encourage them to pass through the normal life. On the other hand, what about the patient or the children with CVI, central visual impairment? Central visual impairment, we already started. Don't think there is a lot of researches about visual rehabilitation in patients with CVIs, but it was a paper or a master degree thesis which has been done in Egypt in physiotherapy college. We started this is the first time to start visual rehabilitation in cases with CP in Egypt. I think that it had very good results with the children, and but أنا حطيتها just to show you that it is the same. If the child with CP, please don't leave him go anywhere. That is because they are in need of rehabilitation, which encourage motor rehabilitation as well. This is a sensory room supplied by different shapes and the colors. Almost all of the child around from 1 or 1.5 hours, he see these colors and moving everywhere that he can follow, fixate and track and grasp. And we already had a good result with this type of children with motor improvement, because visual rehabilitation was in parallel with motor rehabilitation. Okay. Did the children that we need? This is CB. He can see, he can follow. This is the reaction. After many sessions, the child started to react for the object. Okay. Okay. لا 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 أول حاجة أنا صرت بقى في السكند one. A visual perception, I will talk about it in detail. Visual perception, دي games. حد شايف؟ ايه؟ طب كويس. ماشي. دي games بتبقى كتير قوي على النت. This is designed games. طيب what is visual perception? Visual perception يعني how the human visual system analyze images. Visual perception, it means the ability to interpret, analyze, and give meaning to what it receives from the eyes. It is made up of several components. There are two major topics, non-motor and motor. Non-motor, visual discrimination, visual memory, visual sequential memory, figure ground, visual closure, visual form constants, visual spatial relationship. This is the items of IQ. يعني لما بيكون في عندنا if you have a child, we have to check IQ. Sometimes or most of the visually impaired children failed that because they did not develop visual perception skills. Motor eye-hand coordination. Visual discrimination, it is the ability to differentiate one object from another. The ability to discriminate letters and words visually becomes essential in learning to read. It is the same, it is a game. This is visual discrimination, the difference between two photos. You have to find the difference between the same photo. In our regular life, it is our ability to differentiate between pre and post squint surgery, the difference between the same image. Children who have difficulties in that area be unable to identify shades of color and texture in pictures, confuse shapes and symbols in maths, confuse letters, words, and objects that look similar, reverse numbers and letters. And it's a big problem in the school that they cannot differentiate between the visual impairment or the visually impaired child did not develop the visual perception skills, or the normal vision child has poor visual perception skills. Visual memory is the ability to recall information that has been presented visually. I think this is a famous game as well, to cover the object, then open and match one to the other according to visual memory to the same object. In our ordinary life, if we find foreign body in the eyelid, when I return back the eyelid of the patient, I remember what it was the foreign body, the site. Okay. Sequential memory, visual sequential memory is ability to remember and recall a sequence of objects and or events in the correct order. That's to me, please wait 30 minutes. It's a game, call it visual perception. Can you remember the sequence of the previous photo? No perception. It was a trick. Okay. It is the same. In adult, you can remember the steps of the cataract. Scratch, capsulorhexis, irrigation, phaco. It's sequence. Okay. This is the visual sequence. Children who have difficulties may suffer from difficulty learning of alphabets by heart, difficulty reproducing numbers and shapes, slow or makes errors when copying from the blackboard, difficult learning and retaining information presented visually in cultural subjects, difficulty identifying words which have a similar sequences and may confuse them, difficult work in talking about the school children and this visual perception. Sometimes the parents misdiagnose their children and said that he cannot see the number. They reverse the number. It is not because he cannot see. No, he can see by the devices, but he did not develop this skill. Figure grounds ability to distinguish an object or words or letters or numbers from backgrounds surrounding it and maintain it in the foreground for as long as is necessary. How many there is 5 fours? Can you pick up this one? 5.
So a problem in this, we call it CVI.
CVI? No, it's not CVI.
If there is a problem in this function,
Yes,
CVI.
yes, because all visual perception at the level of the visual function, the perception. CVI, normal eye, normal pathway, normal optic nerve, but the problem in the occipital cortex. And internal communications with the other centers, parietal and frontal, and temporal. Temporal for movement, parietal for sensation, and frontal for behavior. You find the 5? Okay, you have good perception. In our usual life, we have figure ground to differentiate between CNV, RPE window defects. You can select the defect in the same. Children who have difficulties in figure ground lose his or her place when copying from the blackboard, difficulty keeping his or her places in the reading or number, skips sections when working through an exercise, difficult looking upwards in a direction or places on a map, difficult picking out things. I think that they suffer from all this problem according to one visual perception skill. Visual closure, it is the ability to identify an object, shape or symbol from a visually incomplete or disorganized presentation. This is visual closure testing. You ask the child, there is 2 rows, this is complete photo and this is incomplete, and he has to check that shape on the right with the left. In our regular life, this is sunset syndrome. We are not in need to see all the IOL to know that there is a problem. This is IOL. How can I know it? That is because of visual closure skill that we have. شوفوا بقى دكتور رامد مهم قد ايه. Children who have difficulties in this area, difficulty breaking up words into seeing words, difficulty decoding unfamiliar words when reading, difficulty combining phonic combinations to build a word, parts of competitions when copying from the board, does not complete questionnaires, struggles with fractions, omits the ends of words in reading and writing. All this function has been destroyed according to one visual perception. Visual form constancy is the ability to mentally turn and rotate objects in our mind and pictures what they would like, what they would look like. This is the basic of puzzle, that he can know if this puzzle fits of this one, he can rotate it mentally and put it here. This is the basic. It is not يعني هي مش بالضرورة إنها تكون هنا, بس it is the ability to see the fitting of the end of the figures to the others. In our regular life, if you are doing graft and take the graft from behind the ear, and you have to reposition it in the same area that you have to fill it. Children who have difficulties in this area may recognizing that a picture is the same as a real object, judging size, height, width, distance, categorizing and classifying objects difficult, recognizing everyday objects when put in an unusual position, organization of self and objects. Visual spatial relationship, the ability to perceive relationships of object position in space. They have two important considerations: laterality, ability to know right from left, oneself. Directionally, the ability to see right and left on other objects. يعني لو الطفل دخل عليك وتقول له سلم عليا تلاقيه بازار movements. He has to direct his hand toward your hand because he sees. There is discrepancy between almost confusing Q from P, D from P. This is our ability also to diagnose the direction of the overaction of the muscle or underaction of the muscle. Children who have difficulties in this area may interpreting instructions, write your name on top, he cannot understand where I write my name. Correctly positioning equipment, put it under the table or over the table. Moving themselves in space. Tracking mazes, cabin patterns or Lego models. Producing 3D drawing as house or cars. Visual motor integration, this is the active, all the process, the last processes are passive, just seeing. This is the active, which depends on the others. Visual motor integration, the coordination and the integration of muscle movement guided by the eyes. The child cannot complete maze because there is no integration. He cannot fixate his hand all through these lines. Excellent surgeons with good eye-hand coordination. Children who have difficulties in this area or call school duties. Poor handwriting, slow motor speed in writing, performs poorly at sport, confuses left and right, difficulty reproducing a figure, poor drawing in culture. That is, it's just as a train. There is a motor function. They are leading all the other functions. What is the importance of visual perception test in case of school children? In Egypt, we have 2 just schools for low vision children. We did a screen for visual perception of children from 5 or 6 years to 18 years. We select a number around 20 children to find out these low vision children without any rehabilitation before, and they are studying in school. What is the real problems? We find it is not just visual impairment, but we find depression, psychological troubles. It was a thesis as well to assess the impact of visual impairment in neuropsychiatric disorders and health-related quality of life. المفروض انتوا بتستخدموا quality of life questionnaire بالنسبة للأدلت. You don't have quality of life questionnaire. This is just to highlight the main problem of the patient. يعني every low vision patient, I don't in need to solve all his problem. I am solving just the most important problem for this patient. as Dr. Hani told you, that the patient wants just to read Quran. Why I should give him a high power with a lot of suffering to read the newspaper? There is no need. There is a balance. He can use large print with low grade magnifiers. Makes him more comfortable. 30 school ages children with visual impairment. This is our study of different causes from different schools, regular low vision and schools for the blind. The patients were 11 males and 19 females. يعني, this is details, we are not of need of it. Ophthalmological examination for both ophthalmological examination, general examination and low vision examination. Then there is questionnaire. IQ كلهم فشلوا. All of them failed for the IQ, which is the unfair for these patients to tell the parents that your child is idiot. He is not idiot. He did not rehab in a proper way to fit for the academic life. That's all.
So can you differentiate? Is it he's mentally subnormal or it's a visual problem?
Definitely.
How would you differentiate?
The differentiation. It's a teamwork, not my work only. Because we have in this study psychiatry to evaluate the psychological state of the child. They already have their own questionnaire about psychological state.
But it's a mental. Now we want to differentiate mental from visual, not psychological.
Yes, but mental under supervision of psychologists. They know the mental retard from the normal.
They usually do the IQ test.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Psychiatrist.
IQ. It is, the social worker maybe do the IQ here.
Yes.
But-
Usually it's a psychiatry, they usually do the IQ test.
Yes.
If the child is normally IQ or he's under his
But
the mental
IQ test
status
per
is.
se cannot differentiate.
Yeah, of course they have many tests. So this
Right.
is, as the doctor said, is the job of the psychiatrist usually.
But you know, in IQ test there are two items: auditory and visual. The visual, they cannot understand the question. In, out, you know, it depends upon the visual perception. Put it inside the box, out, take it off from the box.
So
you know?
if they do well with the auditory IQ, it means they are mentally
Yes.
good.
And they usually are visually impaired people. They usually have good auditory, right? Yeah. Good
Unless it's
auditory
like
function.
Usher syndrome.
Yeah, if it's a syndrome.
On the other hand, in case of visual acuity assessment, even for adults, it is visual perception, it is recognition. You know that figure ground skill, you show that the patient or the person, where is the C? Up, down. You know that he cannot understand what is up or down, or to the right side or to the left side, or down and to the left, down to the right. You know, he cannot recognize. Even for preschool age, if you want to assess visual acuity, actually you assess recognitive vision. You are not assessing first the distance visual acuity. Recognize the child, he has to recognize this object. So I have to ask the parents, your child know what is the square is, what is the circle is. If he did not know it, please take it with you to at home and teach him and return back to me. You have to ask, you are you new or are you did يعني
Are you teaching him this thing? I mean, even colors.
yeah. Are you see it or you cannot recognize it? It's an important question for the preschool. In all low vision, I'm talking about low vision in our region. All of them, they did not submit for visual rehabilitation even from infantile age. Do you have a rehabilitation in? There is visual rehabilitation for infants or children?
No.
No.
Just say
You
no.
know that I attend a lot of workshops for the Emro region, and there is you have I think the focal person of prevention of blindness in Saudi Arabia, Dr. Anyhow, all of them they had survey from all the country, and at the workshop in WHO we collect all this data. Already we don't have this rehabilitation. So when I talk about visual perception, I am pressing upon that visual rehabilitation should start as early as possible in all children. Whatever there is rehabilitation, or you don't ask because there is no. You have to start. And I showed you that the rehabilitation, even for the infants, so simple instruments to save the child from being blind functioning with sensory shift. In the last World Ophthalmology Congress, I talked about the CVI, training of the children with CP, and one of the coordinator asked me, you don't have, there is a computer games. I told him, we are a third world, we don't have this expensive instruments, so I should start with so simple lights, toys. In LV Prasad, أنا اتعلمت الموضوع ده عندهم. They used very simple, very common in the market to start the process. We are not in need to wait until high budget to fill our clinics with the very expensive instruments to start. No, start. And I have a lot of children who had visual impaired. They started rehabilitation, and the other did not start rehabilitation. And after 4 or 3 years, they came to me again. Their parents, he cannot fit with the school. Yes, he will not fit with the school because he did not rehabilitate. Okay. Perception of vision, ده questionnaire. If you في حد هنا بيتعامل بالاي كيو تيست؟ في حد بيعمل اي كيو تيست هنا؟ طيب عموما انتوا لو I don't know exactly what is the IQ test in Saudi Arabia, but if you check it, you will find all these items. Even if you want to, for yourself, if you want to choose a game for your child, behind ورا كل لعبة هتلاقي improve visual discrimination, improve eye-hand coordination. You have to take all these games in different ways to cover all visual perception skills. There was statistically high significant decrease in the level of IQ in patients compared to control. IQ يعني ضعيف بالآخر.
And the CVI, you're talking about CVI here?
No, the visually impaired children attending low vision school or regular schools. Okay? They have other problems, psychological elements of anxiety, depression, even suicidal attack. Anyhow, visual function alone, low vision alone, ophthalmologist alone, مفروض احنا we are in need of team because our patient العيان بتاعنا he is in need of medical rehabilitation and social rehabilitation.